Hello everybody, welcome back to today's module, and today's module is going to be on pantry inventory. So inventorying your pantry and knowing what you're going to have in your cabinets for your canning is very important. So I'm going to go over a couple of the basic things that you need for inventory. So you first want to make sure that you have your materials together. That will be your labels. You need jars, lids, and your bands. And then you're also going to need things such as what's going to go in your jars. Dry goods are excellent things to have in your pantry. Things such as this, which would be your beans. You can look over here. So things like beans, dry goods, things like this make excellent options for you to can. Beans, peas, things like even pastas are good. So things like spaghetti, small bits of pasta, these are all excellent choices for making soups and pastas and things that can be canned. So another good thing to have when it comes to your pantry, you got to consider your frozen items. Some things are going to need to be refrigerated or frozen before you get ready to can them. So any fruits, veggies, you also want to make sure that you've got your seasonings and herbs and spices, any canning materials such as canning salts or pickling agents. So those are things that you would need to have in your pantry.
Do you have an example of that so that they can see it?
An example of herbs?
Of your seasoning or the actual materials that they need so that they can see that.
So if you want to know like materials, I can give you an example. Here is a mason jar. So this is a mason jar. So if you think back to the original video that we watched together when we talked about the basics of canning, one of your key materials that you're going to need is a mason jar. This is called a mason jar. This is a 16-ounce mason jar. This is called a band, and then you have another item that goes in between that's called a lid. Okay, and I'll show you what that looks like. So this would be your lid. Okay, so this is going to be a lid, and this goes inside of the lid, just like this, or excuse me, inside of your band. See? And so once you can your items, or once you have your items inside your mason jar, you're going to go ahead and close that like this, and then you're ready to process. So this is going to be one of your key things that you need in your inventory. This is one of your tools. So you need mason jars. You're going to need your labels, which I can give an example of what labels will look like. So you can buy labels at any of your craft stores. You can also find them in the section of the grocery store that has cans and lids and things like that. As you can see, if you get up close on that one, this is a washable label. And the great thing about this particular label type, you have the dissolvable ones. These dissolve in water. So this will allow for you to reuse your mason jar after you, let's say that you've eaten everything there is to eat in here. If you choose to want to reuse your jar, this is washable. It comes off, which is a really great feature. So you need to have these. You also want to have yourself set aside some markers so that way you can clearly mark your items on here with what you want with your labels. So those are some of the key things that you would need. Like for example, we have highlighters, we've got permanent marker, things like that are just the different things that you'll need so that way you can set yourself up to have success with your pantry.
So what they need to get sugar, what they need to get salt, do they need any other
anything
like
that you would need, if whatever it is that you're going to can. If you're going to be canning something savory, such as a soup or things like that, whatever it is that your recipe calls for your favorite soup, whether you're putting salt, pepper, white pepper, onion, salt, garlic powder, whatever it is that you use for your favorite recipe. Let's say, for example, you're talking about a soup. Let's say you have a favorite soup. Whatever it is that your ingredients that you use for that favorite soup, you want to make sure that you have those seasoning on hand so that way you can go ahead and make your favorite soup. And then after you make your favorite soup, you can go ahead and be prepared to can the soup, because soups can be canned. And I'll give you an example of this. So here I have canned some split pea soup, and I'm going to show you guys what my split pea soup looks like. So this is a jar of split pea soup that I made last month on the 22nd. So this is my jar. As you can see here, I have it here labeled as split pea soup. I kind of wrinkled it up a little bit when I put it on there, but I know exactly what's in this jar, and I know when I made it, okay? Because I've also put my date on there. I've labeled with what it is. So that's another example of, and I had already the recipe, and I had exactly what I wanted to put in there. So whatever it is that you sit down, you can map out what it is that you want to have in your cabins, the type of foods that you like. Whatever it is that you like, you're going to get your items, and you're going to get your seasonings and different things that you need to create those items, along with your jars and your tools, like your jar lifters, your markers, your pens, all of those things that you'll need to be successful with your home pantry.